Hey y'all, it's your girl Kimberly XO, and in this video I'm bringing y'all 10 tips on how to transition really easy. I've gotten a lot of questions on how I transitioned and the products that I used and the hairstyles that I've worn and a lot of stuff like that, and I feel like I can sum it up for y'all really easy in this video. So if y'all want to see how I did that and learn about transitioning, just keep watching. So my tip number one is patience. Patience is key. If you constantly stress over you're not seeing any hair growth, you're just gonna be stuck in between a rock and a hard place, and you're never going to be happy with the progress that your hair is making. You need to be patient and relax and let your hair do its own thing. The next tip that I have for y'all is really important. You need to learn how to blend your textures. Whenever you're transitioning, you're going to have two different textures. You're going to have your relaxed or your damaged hair that has probably been damaged from dyeing it, flat ironing it. There's all kinds of ways that you can damage your hair, and if you're trying to transition to either natural or just healthier, in the end, you're gonna have to blend those two textures so that your hair doesn't break off right at the line of demarcation, which is the line that separates your natural hair or your new growth to your damaged hair. And the best way that you can blend your textures is by using protective hairstyles. So if you're going natural, the best way that I recommend you do protective hairstyles are you could do braids, bantu knots, twist outs, flexi rod sets. There's like a wide range of different protective hairstyles that you can do, and then you could also use wigs. So just braid your hair down to your scalp, get somebody to do it if you can't do it, because I can't braid my own hair down to my scalp, and then put on a wig, a lace front wig. Those are literally like $30. You don't got to be expensive or anything. Just find something that's going to work for you so that you won't end up breaking off your ends in the process. So blend your textures with protective styles. My third step for y'all is a really easy one. Switch to satin. Switch your pillowcase to satin, switch your scarves to satin, switch your bonnet to satin. Whenever you sleep on satin or wear satin to protect your hair, it protects your edges and your ends. Your hair can just easily slide on it, and it's not going to end up breaking it off or drying it out. Like if you sleep on a cotton pillowcase or just the basic stuff that you sleep on, it's not going to be good for transitioning hair because it's just going to wear and tear at your ends. And switching to satin is really easy. I got my satin pillowcases from Walmart for I think about $3 a pillowcase. My satin scarf was $2. My satin bonnet was like $1.99. Switching to satin is one of the easiest things you can do while transitioning, and it's going to be one of the most beneficial things for your hair in the process. My fourth tip for y'all is to explore different hair products. Whenever you're transitioning, you're going to need to learn what's going to work for your new growth now, because what was working for your damaged hair probably isn't going to work the same for your new growth. If you're constantly flat ironing your hair or getting relaxers, a lot of us know a lot about the ORS, Organic Root Stimulator products, or I haven't relaxed in so long, so all the products that I used to use are so dated now. Like I was using oil sheen and wrapping my hair and all that stuff. You're gonna have to switch to all new products for your natural hair, and you don't gotta be too pricey. You can go the cheaper route, like Cantu Helps. That's something that's really cheap. A lot of their products are $5 or under. You could go far by using something cheap, but you could also use stuff like Shea Moisture, which is my go-to brand. That's my holy grail right there. You could use Carol's Daughter. Your hair really needs moisture, so the products that you use, make sure that they're thick and they're going to moisturize your hair so that it won't break off. My fifth healthy hair tip for y'all is pretty optional. If you feel like you don't need to do this, you don't have to, but it worked really well for me. So deep condition or do oil treatments. Some people don't do hot oil treatments, some people do. I believe they're beneficial because whenever I use them, my scalp stayed healthy. It was always moisturized, my ends were always moisturized, and you literally could do this once a week, like on your wash days. Me being African American, I wash my hair once a week. It's really thick, it doesn't produce too much oil that it's always weighed down and greasy, so even when I was transitioning, it was the same way. I wash my hair once a week, and before you wash your hair, do a hot oil treatment. If you don't want to do a hot oil treatment and you want to moisturize your hair in another way, deep condition. That's shampoo, condition, and then put in a deep conditioner. Put a shower cap on top of that, and to take it even farther, you could sit underneath a blow dryer, and that's going to really help your deep conditioner sink in and just keep your locks really, really healthy. And if you don't have a blow dryer, put your shower cap on, go get in the shower for 30 minutes, a hot shower, and let that steam do the work for you. And you're going to see huge results while you're growing your hair out. It's not going to be dry and brittle and dull. Deep treatments. My sixth transitioning hair tip for y'all is limit the amount of heat that you use on your hair. Whenever you transition and you use a lot of heat, you're not going to see your true texture growing in, because the more heat that you use, the more heat damage you're getting. Even if you use a little bit of heat, you're most likely going to get some heat damage. So try your best to limit your heat. Tip number 7 for y'all is more for people who want to have not as dramatic of a big chop. Trim as you go. When you're transitioning, it'll be easy to transition and just trim off like 1/2 inch each month. So the average human's hair grows 1/2 inch a month. If you're growing it out and you're trimming it 1/2 inch of a month, you won't really see that much difference in your length, except for due to the shrinkage. So as you're growing out your hair, try your best, if you can, to trim off like 1/2 inch a month, because whenever you're finally ready to big chop, it's not going to be like you're chopping off 12 inches of hair. You've already chopped off most of your hair while you're transitioning. So if y'all want it to be easier on y'all, so you won't look down on the floor when you do your big chop and cry and be like, oh my gosh, I miss all my hair, trim as you go. My 8th natural hair tip for y'all, it's kind of like a cheat sheet, but it's not really a cheat sheet. A lot of people say transitioning takes too long. What do you do to kind of speed the process up? There's hair vitamins that you could use. There's Nature's Bounty, biotin. A lot of people just say biotin, biotin, biotin. Biotin really does work for you, but the one in particular that I used for about, I'd say 4 months, and I think my hair grew like 5 inches in those 4 months, was Hairfinity. That product really worked for my hair. You'd have to take 2 pills a day. They were huge, like ginormous. They're about the same size as an ibuprofen 800 pill. So the only downfall about that is I think they were $25 a bottle. That's really hit my pockets hard. And me being in college and not having a job when I was on them, I could only afford to take them for about 4 months. And then after that, it was a done deal. Way too expensive. But that's something that you could do if you want your hair to grow faster. Take biotin, because the main product inside of Hairfinity is biotin, and then just a bunch of other important vitamins. So take your vitamins basically. My tip number 9 is a psychological tip for transitioning. Transitioning is not just your hair, it's also your mind state. So it's a psychological thing. When you're transitioning, you need to get rid of all the unrealistic ideas that you have comparing your hair to other people's hair. This is a huge problem that I see in the natural hair community when people are transitioning. Which I also dealt with the same thing. When I transitioned, I have this favorite YouTuber that I follow. She is everything to me. I'm not going to say her name because it's like stalker type, because I like all her videos and all that stuff. But still, she had a certain curl pattern, and I was expecting whenever I big chop my hair that my hair would be just like that. Thank goodness I was in love with my hair texture whenever I did do my big chop, because I wasn't devastated. But that's something that you can suffer from, like these unrealistic views that y'all are gonna have for your natural hair. Everybody's hair is different. You need to really sit down and get to know your hair texture when you're transitioning. If it's 3A to 4C, it doesn't matter. It's gonna be beautiful regardless. Get to know it, so whenever you big chop, you're not like, oh my gosh, I hate my hair. It's so thin or limp. It's not curly enough, or it's too coarse. That's a bunch of bull. That's how God made us. Our hair is supposed to be that way. So embrace your own hair. There are websites that you can go to figure out what your natural texture is and what products are going to work best for that hair texture. Get rid of unrealistic ideas and get to know your own natural hair texture. Which leads me to my 10th and final transitioning hair tip. It's another psychological tip for y'all. You have to build confidence within yourself. If you're not confident, everything is going to go downhill. This is not just transitioning. It don't happen overnight. When you transition, you're transitioning for a period until you're ready to chop your hair off. And while you transition, you're going to get a lot of criticism. It's not all compliments. When you transition, people say really stupid, ignorant things about your hair because they don't know anything about natural hair, and they don't know anything about transitioning hair on top of all of that. So when you're transitioning, build your confidence up, so whenever people hit you with stuff like, what the hell is your hair doing? Why are your roots so thick and your ends are so limp and dead? You need to go get your hair done. I've gotten all this stuff like thrown at me, and at the end of the day, they don't know what my vision was. They didn't know where I was heading to with this. So build your confidence up. You're transitioning psychologically and you're transitioning physically with your hair. So that's the only 10 tips that I have for this video. I hope they helped y'all. If I left anything out, leave a comment below. If y'all have any tips yourselves, also leave a comment below, because even being natural right now, I still don't got everything figured out. I'm not a professional. I don't do hair for a living. I just know from my own trials and errors what worked for me and what got me to this stage. So if y'all like this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye, y'all.